Alright, so we are going to start this one for computer applications. This is code.org Unit 2, Lesson 9. This is our project, our multi-page website. So what I'm going to do from now on is for the lessons that I can get, that I can have the time to record, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the lesson and create a video and live stream it to YouTube, and then I'm also going to record it as well and then upload it to our Google Classroom. So there will be multiple places that you can reach this. If you're at home, you can watch it while I'm live streaming it. You can download it, you can save it, you can keep it, and then you can pause it, start it, rewind, do anything like that if you have any questions on any of the lessons, on any of the levels, or you can skip ahead if some of it is not pertinent to you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through this lesson because this one talks about hyperlinks, and that's a really important skill for us to develop as we are going through this in HTML. So this lesson covers hyperlinks, which allows web developers to connect pages together into one website. The class will link together all of the previous pages into one project and create navigation bars for each page before publishing the entire site to the web. So our vocab for this unit is hyperlink, like we had talked about before. A hyperlink is a link from an HTML file to another location, or a file typically activated by clicking on a highlighted word or image on the screen. So all of these here are hyperlinks to either files or to specific sites or PDFs, any of those kinds of things. A hyperlink is going to be denoted or start off with this A tag. I don't know why they chose A, but we might get into that a little bit later. So here we go. So you can go ahead and press continue. And if at any point during this this lesson you need to go back, need to pause, anything like that, feel free to do so. Pause, fast forward, skip ahead, any of those kinds of things. But I'm just going to go through it, so the speed at which you go through it is up to your disclosure. So I'm going to read here. So hyperlinks can connect to local web pages or external web pages. To add navigation to your website, you will need to add hyperlinks which connect your individual web pages, and you can add hyperlinks to your web page using the A element. So the A element is this tag here. The text you want to display as a hyperlink goes between the opening and the closing hyperlink tags. The A element has an attribute, which is href, is usually what we define this as, which is the location to the actual link. So if that's a website, whatever the target location that we're trying to go to is what that href is going to signify. Just like we do with our image source, that's the element of, or the attribute of the image tag. Our image sources works the same way. So assuming you have a website that includes a second page with the file name houses.html, you could create a link to that page like this. So a space href equals, and then in quotes, just like we do in the image, is where we want our target is, so houses.html, and then we close it here, and then what the link is going to say itself goes after this greater than sign. So we close this tag. It's all within this tag. It doesn't go ahref and then close it. It keeps this all within one tag. The link for the actual text for the actual link goes here, and then we close our tag on number 3. So we have our less than sign, / just the A, not the href part, and then our greater than sign. So go ahead and press continue. Alright, making a multi-page site. A website should include more than one web page, and they should connect to each other. Here's an example of a project with multiple pages that are connected by hyperlinks, the blue underlined words that take you to another page when you click on them. So it says, use the inspector tool to see the code that creates the hyperlinks on the top of index.html. Discuss with your partner how you would think the code works. Click on recipe.html in the files list on the left-hand side, which is over here. Add a hyperlink to the top of this page that will take you back to the index.html. So we can use our inspector tool, see the tool that creates hyperlinks on the top of index.html. So we've got, this is our index.html that we're in, And if I hover over this with my inspector tool on, I can see Scotcheroo's recipe. There's my line on line 6. It's going to take me to recipe.html. This one here is going to take me to the jungle.html. We can see in the blue there. And this one's going to take me to candy.html. So I'm going to turn my inspector tool off. Okay. And then it says to go to recipe.html. Whoops. My last video just got done here. So we'll close that out. Sorry. So we're going to go to recipe.html. Click into that. And then it says that it wants us, so we clicked on recipe.html right over here. Add a hyperlink to the top of this page that will take you back to index.html. So index.html is always our home. It's our home page. So we might want that kind of towards the top. I'm thinking that my link is usually going to go either before my heading, up on the very top, or right underneath my heading. I'm going to put it right above my heading, just because I'm going to have my linked list, all of my links above on the very top of my page. So I'm going to go to this body tag right here, this opening body tag, and I'm going to press enter after it. And now I'm going to put in my link. So to do that, I'm going to open up a tag, so my shift, and then I've got my less than sign there. And it already wants to autofill it with an A, which we want. So I'm going to press just a lowercase a, and then space href, href, and then just like I do for my attribute in my image, I'm going to create this attribute for my index. So I'm going to put, I just pressed tab. So after it did href, then I press tab, and it's going to autofill in my equal sign in my 2 double quotes. If yours doesn't autofill that in, then you're going to have to type it in individually. I like to use the tab key in code.org because it autofills a lot of information for you, which leaves out a lot of the human error in making like key mistakes. So I've got this list that pops up now. And so I'm just going to use my arrow keys, and I'm going to arrow key down to index.html because we're on our recipe.html, and I want to link it back to my home page. So I'm going to go to arrow down to index.html, and then I'm going to press the tab key again. So I press the tab key again. It fills it in for me. Now I need to close this tag with my greater than sign. So that ends that tag. Now I need to have the actual link text. So what do I want it to say on my website over here for this link? Well, my index.html is my home page, so I'm going to type in home. And then I need to close my tag because here I've got my tag opening. Now I need to close it after home without any spaces, otherwise it'll have a space there. I'm going to press my less than sign, / a, and then greater than sign. Okay, and then as you see, my home tag popped up here. If I were to click on that, it would bring me to my index.html. Okay, so if you need to pause that and fill that in, that is line 6. That's all we did for this one. So go ahead and type that in. Make sure that you're clicked on recipe.html, line 6, right here, ahref equals, in double quotes, index.html, greater than sign, our text is home, less than sign, / a, greater than sign. And that is how we add in a hyperlink. So if you get that, go ahead and press finish. All right, so this is going to add into our larger project, so anything that we do here is going to be added in. So you can see my old website here. I've got all sorts of stuff along the side here. If you don't have that, that is okay. So it says, here's your project from before. You'll be linking the 2 pages by creating a navigation bar at the top of the page. Websites usually have the same navigation bar across all of their pages, so you can get back and forth between things on the site. You can see an example of a navigation bar on this page. So if we scroll down, I'm thinking, on this page, so I'm going to click on this. Let's see here. Gotcha, so it's got its navigation bar along the top here. This home page, how to jungle, my life, and then summer. So we want something kind of like that. They've got all of their hrefs and their link tags are all up here on the top. So we want something like that. I think I want something like that as well. So I'm going to, so your code does not need to be like this, but we're going to do it at the top. So it says, in your home page, index.html, add 2 hyperlinks at the top of this page. One to your lists page, which mine is top 10 games. So whatever page you have that has your list, so if I click on mine has my list here. So whatever page you have that has your list in it, that's the one that you're going to be linking to. And then one to your list page and one to the home page. Even though it might seem strange to link a page to itself, it's less confusing if the navigation bar is the exact same on every page. So I'm going to do my home page first, even though it says them in a reverse order up here. I'm going to do my home page first, so I'm going to click after the body tag because I want to make it at the top, and I'm going to press enter, and we're going to be adding in code on line 6 again. So get your cursor and a blank space on line 6, and I'm going to do this one a bit fast. So if you want to, you can go ahead and pause this one as many times as you'd like, but we're going to go through this simply so that the video is not so long. So I'm going to do a href, whoops, I'm going to do my tab, I want to do my index because that's my home page, and then I'm going to close it with my greater than sign. It is going to say home, and then I'm going to close my a tag. So there's my home just popped up. And then without pressing any, I might do like one space just to create space in my, whoops, in my text here. But I'm going to wonder if I enter down what this is going to look like. A href equals, and I want to do my list. So that's top 10 games. Top 10 games. Yours will say whatever your page is. Remember, that one's your list. Yep, so even if I have them on separate lines, so this is what I was kind of looking for. So remember that white space that we were talking about before? If I have space between these here, it doesn't actually create space over here, but it makes it a lot easier for me to read over in my workspace. So this space being here, this space being here, doesn't do anything over on my actual web page. It just makes it easier for me to read on this side. So I put my hyperlinks on 2 separate pages because then it's simply just a lot easier to read. So if you'd like to do that as well, you can. If not, you can keep them all on the same line. That's totally up to you. But what I did is I added in these 2 lines here. Remember, your first one is to your home page and your second one is to your list. So whatever your list name is, yours in this double quotes is not going to say top 10 games. Okay, so you need to make yours whatever your list is and then your name here. Okay, and then as soon as you get that, you go ahead and press continue or finish. All right, your personal website. In the next few levels, you'll be completing and publishing your personal website. You've already done a lot of work on your website, but this is your chance to get creative and add a new page of something that you care about. Here are some ideas for your new page, but you can do anything approved by your teacher: a movie, television, or book review, description of a favorite holiday tradition, a cause page that explains an issue that is important to you. If you have more than one idea, you can add multiple pages to your site. Your project guide will help you remember everything you need to do, so make sure you have your teacher's approval before moving to the next levels. So, in this one, all I would like you to do is just make sure that you have all of the information that I've asked you to fill out in class in that packet. First, that should be your project planner. Let's look here. All right, yes, your project guide, personal website, lesson 2, or unit 2, lesson 9. The steps that I had you complete for last time were steps 1 and 2, which was just coming up with an idea and then finding some images. So it says step 3, once your teacher has approved your design, head to the code studio to create your pages. So this is step 3 right here in this video. Getting everything approved by me first, so your steps 1 and steps 2, making sure that you have your idea laid out and your images with the correct copyright information put down, and then you can continue past step 3 to step 4, which says check your website to make sure it has everything that it needs. So this is right here in code.org, lesson 6, level 5 is step 3 in your project packet. Okay, so once you've checked with me, you can go ahead and press continue. All right, create and name your page. Before you start coding, you should make sure that you have all of the pages that you need in your project. So create a new HTML page and rename it. Look at lesson 6, level 8 if you've forgotten how, but I can show you now. And then repeat this process for any other pages that you want to add. So to add in a page, all we have to do is just click this Add HTML button right here. What that will do is it creates this new -1.html. If we click on it once, it'll highlight it. And then if I click on it again, it'll let me rename it. Now, while we're renaming pages, remember from lesson 6, level 8, we're not supposed to delete that .html. So when I go in and I'm going to make a web page on life goals, okay, and then I press enter. So there's my page, okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside my body tag or inside of my body tags, and I'm going to add in some things. So first thing that I might do on my page is add in a header. And if it's the first one on my page, it's probably an H1. So remember, if I go too fast during some of this, you can always pause it, always speed it up if you've already done some of this stuff. So I'm going to add in my H1 tag, and I'm going to have my title, Life Goals. Okay. We haven't learned this tag yet, but I'm going to add it in simply for looks. I'm going to add in my center tag before my H1 and then my center closing tag. You do not need to do that. What it does is it just simply centers my H1 tag. I'm going to press enter there, and so now I've got my life goals, and I'm going to do an unordered list because my life is as hectic as it is. I don't have my life goals necessarily planned out in a numeric order, so I'm going to do it as a bulleted list. So mine's going to be an unordered list, but I'm going to start and create a paragraph first and kind of talk about why I'm making this page. So my paragraph opening tag, paragraph closing tag, and then I'm going to start typing text in between this. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about this page. So this page is created to share with my students and my audience about some of my life goals that I hope to accomplish before I die. Nice and morbid at the end there. Alright, so I go ahead and press refresh and save, and there is my sentence. Don't necessarily like how it's spaced out, but I could always fix that later, but for time's sake, we'll just leave it as is. So, next I'm going to make my unordered list, my UL tag, and then I'm going to close it because I don't like my stuff to be pink down below there. And then I've got to make my list items inside of there. So, my first one, make teaching a hobby, not an income-based career. Simply meaning that I hope to someday make enough money to be able to donate my teacher salary instead of actually needing the salary by the time that I retire. Own or manage a business with a net worth of over $1 million by the time I am 45. Have a personal net worth of over $1 million time I am 40. Whoops, can close my LI there. And then let's do one more. school and get my doctoral degree before the age of 35. Alright, so I've got my list, got all my stuff. Yours can be about whatever you want. If you want to skip past this so that you don't watch all that, that's totally up to you. But yeah, there's my page. I didn't add any pictures. Let's go out and grab one real quick. So Google, let's go to images. Let's search something, and then we'll put on our usage rights first. So let's look up private yacht. That sounds like fun. All right, and then when I search up my image, I have to go to Tools, Usage Rights, labeled for reuse with modifications, usually the safest one to go with. And then this looks like fun, 141 meter mega yacht. Sure, we'll call it the Mr. Clark yacht. Save image as yacht. Let's do personal yacht, because it's going to be mine, right? Personal yacht. I'm going to visit the page. So it looks like it's Glen Low Photo Works. I don't see public, additional viewing privacy, safety level safe. It's public. I'm going to assume that it's simply for those of us that have taken our copyright, our Unit 2 Lesson 7 to make sure that we are using our usage is correct. I would assume that this is probably a CC BY, that all they want is this credit, if that, honestly. So I'm going to go after my UL here, and I'm going to add in my, whoops, actually before I do that, I'm going to add in the actual image. Add image, upload a file, pictures, personal yachts, open, and there it's in there. Boom, there it is. So I have to go back to my lifegoals.html. I don't know why it does that. Alright, image, source, src, personal yacht, and then we're going to do our alt text is going to equal personal yachts. If you notice, I like the tab key a lot. It makes things go a lot faster. So there I added in personal yacht down the bottom. It's a little big. That's probably fine though. If I zoom this up a little bit, there we can see it. I could take that into Photoshop and make sure that it's a little bit less large. I could probably size it down, but I'm not going to. So inside of my paragraph tag, I need to make sure that I'm giving the correct permissions to all of my people. So Glen Low Photo Works. So let's just go ahead and see if we can, there we go. Copy, so I don't misspell it. So I'm going to put photo by Glen Low Photo Works, published on Flickr, because that's where it was. Published on Flickr, and then let's talk. Make sure that we talk a little bit about the picture. Let's throw this in there just to make sure that we're covered as well, because the different person might have taken the picture. I'm just going to put on Flickr picture details include Control V 100 include, and then I'm going to put the little semicolon there. 141 meter mega yacht Yas by Abu Dhabi MAR. That'll be fine. Close my paragraph tag. And now if I go down here, all my information's there, so I should be covered. Alright, drop down our instructions again. So if you need to pause that, make your web page, want to do something similar, go ahead and do that. Try and put some information on there, at least a heading, some text, either a couple paragraphs, an unordered list, an ordered list, and then put a picture on there, and make sure that you put the paragraph tag after that and include the information about that tag as well. Okay? All right. Download all the images you want onto your computer. Upload all of your images into your project. Write down all of your attribute information that you need. Upload all the images. All right. So on this one, I'm going to assume that they want to make sure that all of our images are uploaded. So if you look at your project guide, your personal website, I guess they went ahead a little ways. On this one, if you didn't in the last project, so I'm not going to do anything on my end on this one. I'm going to have you do this on your own. What I would like you to do is your 3 images that you've looked up for your step 2 inside of your packet, I want you to make sure that they're all uploaded, that you clicked add image and you uploaded all 3 of them over here. Okay? That's all you need to do for that. I'm not going to do that because I'm not doing this project. So I want you to upload those images to that project and get them added in. So I've got this personal yacht.jpg and the video games one. Those are my 2 that I have in, and I have my information written down. So get your images uploaded and then make sure that you have your information in your packet written down about those 3 images. So remember, you should have as much information off of the site as you can. If I can't get to the site like this, then I need to grab it off of here. So 141 meter yacht, Yas by Abu Dhabi MAR, and then if I look down here, I can see more information by Glenlow Photoworks, published on Flickr. So we can get our information from this space here. So if you can't find it, always look in that space as well, because it'll have a lot for you if you can't actually visit the website. Okay? So do that for this lesson as soon as you get your 3 images uploaded over into your files manager over there on the left side. Go ahead and press finish. Alright, next you should add the HTML to your pages. For each of your new pages that you've created, add HTML to make the new page you sketched into your project guide. You may also add more HTML to the pages you've already created. So for this one, you need to start creating, if you haven't already, create the HTML page that you sketched up. Now, if you sketched up a HTML page that has multiple pages to it, or multiple pages linked, you need to start adding in the additional links to those pages. You might want to copy and paste this link list so that you can keep it the same. So I'll do the next one for example. So let's say I've got this one that says class schedule. I've got my life goals.html as well. So I want that. So I'm going to do my next one, ahref, and then I'm going to do my class schedule one. It's going to say class schedule, and then I'm going to close my tag. And then I've got a href, and then I've got my one that's my life goals. Life goals. Okay, so now I've got all 3 of those. I'm going to test something here real quick. No, I'll do that. I'll do that later. I was going to space them out a little bit more so they're not so confusing, but we'll just leave it how it is. So I've got all 4 of my pages linked on my index page, on my home page. Now I want to get that same link list on every single page. So I'm going to press Control, I'm going to highlight all of them, press Control C or right click, copy, and then I'm going to go to all of my pages and I'm going to paste that in the body section. So I'm going to go underneath the body there, I'm going to paste it. Now I've got my links. That was in my top 10 games. Now I'm going to go to class schedule. Go to my body, press enter, paste. Life goals, go to my body, press enter, paste. Okay. What do we not have closed? Oh, this one. Is that all of them are? Alright, so now I've got all of my links to all of my pages posted onto my website. So, like I said, the page or the web page that you have sketched onto your packet, you need to start creating that, whether that's multiple pages. Get the best way to start making your pages is to create the page over on the side here first, get it named, put a simple H1 heading tag on it, and then get your link list created, this link list, HTML or your hyperlinks list, okay? And then you can go in after you've got your H1 tag, is simply to just identify it as soon as you've clicked on it, what it's going to contain. If you have multiple things on that page, you might make a quick paragraph tag and add in just some details about what the page is. So the very first thing on each page that you create, add HTML right here, name it appropriately, then go into it, add an HTML or an H1 tag into the body, then add a paragraph tag simply talking about what's going to be on that page. And then go through, get all those pages created, and then create your hyperlinks list, put that at the top of every single page, then go in individually and start making those pages. Then you've got all your pages out. You can update your list as you go, things like that. So as soon as you get your link list created, those pages created, go ahead and press continue on that. I'm sure there's other ones in this lesson that will let you create more things, but for the time being, for this lesson there, go ahead and just continue. So for each page, make sure that it has a navigation bar that links to other pages. For a review of navigation bar for each page, make sure it has a footer at the bottom that explains the copyright information for your page. So the Creative Commons. So we do that in our paragraph page, but if you want to, so down in the footer, if you would like to, you can go ahead and add a paragraph at the very bottom. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a comment. So my less than sign, exclamation, dash, dash, space, dash, dash, greater than sign. Okay, I'm going to create a comment that says footer. Because just like in Microsoft Word, in Microsoft Word, our footer is where all of our information is going to go that goes to the bottom of the page. Now, you can't necessarily define that this early on in our code.org. We haven't come up with a template for our HTML pages. So I'm simply going to make just a comment that denotes this next paragraph that I make as the footer, so that I know that anything that goes in after this footer comment is going to be down in the footer of my page, and anything that I should have before that has got to go above it. So I've got my footer, I've got my paragraph that I'm going to start, and if I wanted to make sure that everybody gives me credit, I can do a CC BY. So CC dash BY, and I can even go into explanation about that. Any information on this page, please give proper credit to Edward Clark. And then I can close my paragraph tag, and now it's down at the bottom here. Okay? So as you see, it's not necessarily at the bottom of my page like I would like it to be, but it is the very last thing on my page. So anything else that I add into this page would go here. Now, if I want to put that on all of my pages, I simply copy it, go to all of my pages. Actually, I'm going to go in and I'm going to even copy the comment for the footer. Press Control-C. Here's my class schedule. Paste it in there. Life goals. I'm going just right before the closing of the body tag. I'm pressing enter and then pasting it in with Control-V. Okay, so now it says it down here. And that's all 4 of my pages. So as soon as you get that put in, and your navigation bar up at the top, which we did on the last one, then you are good to go on Unit 2, Lesson 9, Level 9. Alright, you're almost ready to publish your project, but you should check one more time that you have fulfilled all the requirements of this project. Check that you are comfortable sharing all the information that's on your site, so nothing in there that you don't want. Check that all your images are correctly attributed and that you have the right to put them on your site, so making sure that they are marked for reuse with modification from Google Images. Okay, check that your project includes everything included in the project rubric, so make sure that you go over your rubric, maybe use it as a checklist. And then use comments and white space to make your website more readable. That's always convenient for me and especially anybody else that's trying to help you with your project. And then ask your partner if you would like to. Go ahead and ask someone by you, or ask someone else in the room. Okay. Ask your partner to help you find any potential problems with your site. So looking through it, seeing if there's any pictures, any comments, any paragraphs, anything like that, anything in your page that you could add to make it easier to read, easier to view. Your navigation list works. Everything works correctly. Okay. As soon as you get that, you've gone through your rubric. Go ahead and press finish. So go through your rubric, all those things. All right. And then it says it's time to share your project with the world. To do this, click your share button at the top of this page, copy the URL that gives you and email it to the people that you want to see your page. So what I would like you to do is, up at the top here it says share, so it's going to share. I would like you to copy this and send it to me in an email. And then I would also like you to, just so that it's saved in two separate places, so send it to me as an email, so click on that, copy it, and then open up your email, send it to me there, and then there will also be something on Google Classroom. It'll say code.org, Unit 2, Lesson 9, multi-page website, final project link, or website link, or something along those lines, and then the instructions will say copy and paste your finished project URL into this Dropbox. Okay, so you might have to put it into a Word document to add it in, or a Google Doc to add it in, but do that. Okay, so that's what you'll do for this one. And then this last part here, I'm going to go back quick. That last part there is just so you could probably pause that like 2 seconds ago and get that first answer, but go through that last assignment there, that last multi-question project, and answer those questions, and then press submit at the end. All right, so that is Unit 2, Lesson 9, the project with multi-page websites. Make sure that you turn in your packet, you turn in your URL for your website, you've gone through your rubric, and we will do our peer review in class. All right, so thanks for listening.